Heard Reactor? Roll off.
What's up, Reactorites? I'm John.
I'm Mike.
And we just got back from our second viewing of Batman v Superman Dawn of Justice. And have our opinions on the movie changed?
I don't think so. I don't know. This is our second time. We've seen it. And, the movie's not out yet. I don't think much has changed. I mean, I think we understand the story a little bit better. We understand the movie a lot more, and maybe some things that we understand make it not as good as we first thought. Overall, I still like the movie.
Yeah.
I found it very enjoyable still.
Yeah, and I enjoyed it. On my first viewing, I enjoyed it a lot. But then the more we talked about it, the more gripes I've had. Mm-hmm. So for this review, it's going to be spoiler heavy. And we apologize for our previous video where we're trying not to spoil anything. I truly believe we didn't spoil any big secrets that would ruin the story element of the movie. Mm-hmm. Probably just ruining the surprise for a certain character flaw.
Yeah, and it's not a major story thing, and it's even knowing it now and watching it again, it's not big. They make no big real thing about it. It just happens. It's just natural to that character.
So with that, we're warning you right now. This is going to be spoiler heavy. So if you don't want any spoilers, turn away now. Watch a Taylor Swift music video or something, or anything like that.
Yeah.
And so let's get to it. So first thing first, let's talk about the motive behind Batman and Superman fighting. It's pretty much a long setup of just different ideologies. So it sets off with Bruce Wayne. He's going into Metropolis and he's trying to save the people, or especially Wayne Financial. Mm-hmm. He fails at that, and then he's pissed off. Superman fighting the Kryptonians. They cause a lot of people to die.
Yeah, and I really like that scene. Even seeing it the second time, I was a big fan, but we were both big fans of Cloverfield, and I know, Cloverfield Lane came out recently, and it's not what Cloverfield fans wanted. They want to see that big monster, and you get that, that same feeling, that feeling of being small, and, just big world destruction, and you're just, you seeing it from Bruce's point of view, or Batman's point of view, it's just, you can't feel, helpless, oh my god, the world is crumbling around us.
Yeah.
That's all I gotta say. But that's what sets up his deep rooted anger. At least what starts the process.
Yeah, and then so that's his side. So he sees Superman as a force that can pretty much destroy the entire world, destroy Earth, just like that. Mm-hmm. And then we have Superman. He views Batman as this vigilante, just doing his own thing with his own justice. He's branding people, he's beating up people. And he would see the news reports if Batman puts a mark on a person, that's pretty much a death sentence. So he views that as just horrible. Pretty much Batman is just condemning the person to death, and Superman doesn't want to be a part of that because Superman's trying to save people. The final nail in the coffin for him wanting to fight Batman is that Lex Luthor kidnaps his mom, Martha Kent. So that right there is a good enough reason for me, I think, for Superman to want to confront Batman. Mm-hmm. As for Batman, it's what a bitch, because he receives a bunch of photos you let your family die and blah blah blah, and he took it to heart. He's like, you're making fun of me, I'm gonna get angry. It's come on, Batman, you're supposed to be just calm, and you're not supposed to have any emotions. It's just he's emotionally compromised. Mm-hmm. And I don't know, I guess, Batman, Bruce Wayne, he could be human. But right here, he's looking at pictures, come on.
Yeah, well, yeah, he sees these checks that come in the mail, and they're supposed to be mailed to this person that used to work for Wayne Foundation, or not Wayne Foundation, Wayne Financial. He lost his legs, blah, 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 part of the story. But, all the checks never received by that guy, and he's reading all these checks that were sent back, and they all have these writing on them. It's well, who wrote these?
Yeah.
Where does this all come from, you know? And then the same thing happens with the whole Clark Kent. Clark Kent gets this mysterious package at his cubicle at the Daily Bugle, or Daily Bugle.
Daily Planet.
Yeah. He gets this package at the Daily Planet, and he opens it, and it's all these pictures, and it's it's from the header of Bat branded something, and it's judge, jury, and executioner. Yeah, like I don't see how like nowhere in their story did they think of like, well, who sent this to me?
Yeah,
like, you know, and who happens to be that person? It's Lex Luthor. You know, I like what they did set up, like as far as like what makes them different, because there is like a difference in style, a difference in like objective, because like, you know, Batman deals with the criminals, he deals with people like more at the ground level, while you know, Superman, you always think of like, you know, big world sky things, and he still does the small stuff, but you know, you always hear about Batman like beating up some thugs in an alley, and you know, Superman will save people from like planes crashing, you know, the space shuttle, and like that's their worlds are so different, because you know, Clark, he's there's a scene where he's in the Daily Planet, and he's like, oh, you know, what about, what's his name, the vigilante in Gotham, and he's like, you know, crime spree in Gotham, like Perry White, he's like, crime spree in Gotham, water, wets, like nothing changes.
Yeah.
It's just Gotham. There's crime there. What do you want from us? We're not covering that, you know?
All right, so next up we got Ben Affleck as Batman. What are your thoughts?
I still like him. I think he does a good job. The voice, like at first I didn't like the whole voice modulator thing. But at least it's not the, you know.
At least I don't kill people.
Hello, Governor.
But you know that it's different. I like his relationship with Alfred. It's something different we haven't seen before. Like they feel they're more partners. Like before it was just like Batman, Alfred waiting at home, like waiting for him to come home. Now he's like, he's there, he's watching, he's helping.
He's like an active member, so he's always on call. Like Batman's like, I need help. He's like, all right, I'm right here. It's like he brings out the joystick, I'll fly it for you. So they're like truly partners here, and there's like no hesitation. And then the one thing, it could be a gripe for many fans. I know many fans will have problems with this, but Batman kills indiscriminately. Like, let's say there's a scene where he's going after these bad guys that have the kryptonite, and the bad guys are trying to escape from Batman's wrath, and Batman's chasing them with the Batmobile. So he would like hit cars, run over cars, launch other cars on top of other cars, with people still inside them, and it would just crush them. So that's just them dying. And then there are other parts where, like one part where he crashes into a car, it just blows up. Those guys are dead. And then there's another part where this guy is like on a machine gun shooting back at the Batmobile, and Batman retaliates with his own machine gun, shoots back at them, and just pretty much shreds them to pieces. Yeah. And he's killing. It's like wow, that's a lot of death on Batman's hand. And as you know, people that follow Batman, he has that moral code where he doesn't kill people. Batman has killed before in the comics, but they have the modern version of Batman. He's got that moral code where he doesn't want to kill anybody because of the whole the criminal that killed his parents with a gun. Mm-hmm. So he's like, I'm not going to use guns. I don't want to kill anyone. Yeah. But here he's killing. What's up with that?
Yeah, I thought it was weird. Obviously now, you know, finding out that this was really how the original character was. It's kind of weird because I don't know for how long it's been Batman has been no guns, no killing, you know, and it's like now they're introducing it into this new Batman. This is the new Batman that's going to go forth. They're going to make new Batman movies. So why hasn't he killed the Joker then? Yeah.
Or unless maybe the Joker's, I don't know. Well, we'll find out like once Suicide Squad comes out. Yeah. But yeah, this Batman. So that means in the future Batman. I wonder if the director is going to follow Zack Snyder's route and just have him be this killing machine, or trying to make Batman more like the one we know where he doesn't kill people. Yeah, and you know the other thing, me and John talked a lot about this. You know, obviously we didn't want to put in this. It was supposed to be spoiler free, but you know, how did he come to this? We do know that there was a Robin. Yeah, you've seen it. You've seen it in the trailer. They show the costume and the writing. So Joker had something to do with it. Is he dead? Yeah, we don't know if he's dead. We just know that the outfit's there, and on the writing it says "ha ha ha, joke's on you." So we know like he's been affected by the Joker. And our theory is that the Joker did a number on Robin, probably even killing him. So now Batman has a different moral code now, where he's just like, you know what? I'm just gonna kill anybody so that they don't hurt people that I care about in the future.
Yeah, this is just our theory because they don't give you the reasoning behind it. It's just he just starts shooting at people. Like there's this one part where he's in the Batwing and he's like coming up to this building, and then you see this guy like in a what is it, truck? It's a truck, right? And he's shooting at him, and he shoots at him, and then the whole thing explodes, and it's like that guy's not alive. You can't tell me he's alive.
Yeah, so this movie alone probably has more of Batman killing than all the comics, the movies like Batman with Michael Keaton, and other stuff combined.
Yeah.
So I think we counted maybe at least 10 people dying by the hands of Batman.
And that's not killing the people from the nightmare sequence. Because remember, like people were mentioning it in the comments. And even our friend was like, "Oh, it was just in the nightmare sequence." No, that's not what we're talking about. He's there.
It's all outside the nightmare sequence. The nightmare sequence we don't even count because it's just a dream.
Yeah.
Yeah, or is it? It could be the future. We don't know. We don't know what Warner Brothers is planning. But yeah, fans are gonna have issues with Batman killing like crazy. And personally, for me, I have issues with that too. And I don't know about you.
Yeah, I mean, that's always something that's kind of, like, hindered him, but that's what makes him different, you know? He's got that code, and I think a lot of the DC characters usually have that code of, like, no killing.
Yeah.
Unless it's, like, absolutely necessary. You know, that's the whole thing we were talking about, you know, Joker. Like, why would he not just kill him? You know, that whole storyline, that whole age-old, you know, whatever fight and rivalry it doesn't mean anything now, because he should have just killed him. Like, he just... They don't have a meaning or a reason now for him not to kill him.
Yeah, my favorite part about Batman in this is just his fighting style. We've never seen this in live action where he's just going all out. He's crazy. He's moving fast. Like, let's say the first part where, like, the two cops are trying to look for him. They go upstairs. They see, like, a criminal in the corner. And, like, Batman's hiding in the shadows. And he looks... this is not really a fighting part, but it's just cool. Like the cops try to shoot him, and he's just roaming from like wall to wall, and then he just zips up. That was creepy and cool. And then later on, like he's fighting the very end scene where he's trying to save Martha Kent.
Yeah,
that sequence was amazing. He's like all over the place, punching guys. He's grabbing stuff with his grappling hook, launching them. Just a brute strength for Batman. He's tough. Yeah. And there's this one scene where he knocks a guy down and his head just hits the ground and like the ground just cracks. I was like, wow, that's amazing. That's awesome.
Yeah, that guy's still alive.
You think he's still alive?
No. Okay, so yeah, and you know, another thing I really liked about this movie and what it does for Batman is it humanizes him, because you realize that, you know, even with the comics, even with the TV shows, Batman's still just a man.
Yeah.
He's just a man. And, you know, when he gets into it, and, like, you know, even with his fight with Superman, they do a good job of, like, you know, making it seem believable. But once Doomsday gets involved, you're like, run, Batman! You're just a man!
And that's what he was doing. He was running. Like, Doomsday is, like, trying to catch him, trying to shoot at him. He's, like, with his grappling hook. I'm out of here! See ya!
And it's like, you really can't fault him, because, I mean, if he gets hit, he's done.
Yeah. He is done.
He's done. Like, he's a man.
Yeah.
And I think that's really interesting. I wonder how fans are going to take that.
Well, Batman's human, so...
Yeah, like, well, it's funny because, I mean, I know me and you have talked about this before, about, like, it's dumb, and, like, you know, Batman is just a guy, and, you know, Superman is just, you know, this god, this being, like, he can take bullets, he can fly through the sun, all this crazy stuff, and Batman's like just a guy in a costume.
Pretty much.
And I think that it's kind of cool, because I mean, like, it works a little bit into the movie, because he almost, I think he feels a little insecure. Like,
yeah, but he makes up for being like a great fighter and being the world's greatest detective.
Yeah.
So it's smart.
But is he smart in this movie, John?
I don't think so. There's parts where there's a scene where he's trying to go inside Lex's place to like hack into the servers to find out files about the kryptonite and all that.
Yeah.
So he's sneaking around. He's talking to Alfred. And, what is it? Superman is already hearing what he's saying because he's talking to Alfred. So Superman already hears that, so he knows. And then later on, what is it? Lex Luthor's assistant, she's like, can I help you? It's like, and she knows already. So that's already strike 2. Yeah. Strike 3, he goes back to try to retrieve the hacking device, and it's gone because Wonder Woman took it. So 3 times he gets caught.
Yeah.
That is bad.
Yeah, you always thought him to be like, he was trained by ninjas, like that was, you know that backstory. Unless they're gonna remove that too, change that, like he's not trained by ninjas anymore.
Yeah.
So I mean, he was trained by ninjas. He knows like the the stealthy.
He knows how to hide himself.
Yeah.
Like that's Batman. Like he surprises criminals. Like I'm here, or he's hiding upside down, or even hiding away from the cops.
Yeah.
But here it's like I'm here. Catch me.
Yeah, and especially like the girl, her name's Mercy, Lex Luthor's assistant. Like she just walks to it. Usually, like he has like that instinct and that like awareness.
Yeah, you gotta be aware of your surroundings. And here, Bruce Wayne has no awareness of any of his surroundings.
But I did like the whole like Superman listening in, because he does have super hearing. So I think that was pretty funny.
Yeah, see, they could have done a way where just Superman hears it. That's it.
Yeah.
Don't have Lex Luthor's assistant Mercy finding out, or don't even have Wonder Woman knowing about it.
Yeah.
So it's just, come on, Bruce. So Henry Cavill as Superman. He's still yoked. So he's good. He's good as like the looks, and as for acting as Superman, he's got that down too. Like truth, justice, and the American way. He's got that. As for Clark Kent, I do want to see like a different side, because it feels like Henry Cavill as Superman is the same thing as Henry Cavill as Clark Kent. Still like the same person.
Yeah.
Unless he's just not trying to hide that character. But he's trying to hide, so at least act differently. Like if you're going to be working at the Daily Planet, act different. So he still just acts like just a guy that's doing his thing.
Yeah, and I thought he did pretty good. I mean, they try to give you at least like more point of view from him, because a lot of it is centered around him. Like they're this whole like senator thing, and like people accusing him, and the whole thing with him and Lex and Batman, and like it makes him feel alienated.
Yeah,
and you could see it because he's like very like kind of emo, like he just kind of like he's alone, like really. And the only person he has is Lois.
She's the thing that helps him just live. And I do like the part where, let's say, Lois Lane, she was in Africa, and then she almost gets killed. She gets kidnapped by one of the leaders, and Superman just comes there to save her. So he's more concerned about saving her life at the result of having like other people dying. But it's not even his fault anyway.
Yeah.
And so people are just branding him as like this guy that's like, is he a savior? He's like causing a lot of destruction. But I like that he still helps people no matter what people say. Yeah. Like, you're going to talk crap on him, but he's going to still go out there, rescue people from floods, rescue people from like burning fires. And that's what's, that's good on Clark Kent.
And I like that scene with him and his mother. Like, just like, be whatever they need you to be, or be nothing. Like, they don't, you don't owe anything to them. Yeah, and that was really cool, because I mean, he's still that kid on the farm. He goes, seeing that scene with his mother, and like they're just sitting there in the cornfields, and it's like he's like, what do I do? They hate me. Like if I do stuff, and like people need me in the world. It's really like the conflict with him is really cool. But
I do like the fact that like the government wants him to just owe up to these things, but they really can't do anything, because he just shows up and it's like, I'm here, let's talk, and then they blow up anyway. So he tries. Yeah, but so far Superman has been doing Superman things, so he's always saving people. So I don't really have a big problem with that character in the movie.
Okay, what's the character you do have a problem with?
The character I do have a problem with would be Jesse Eisenberg as Lex Luthor. Yeah, I'm just not a fan of the way he's portraying this Lex Luthor. Just kooky, silly, and I like my villains like just either maniacal, like always an evil mastermind. And just in the shadows, that's what I want. That's what I kind of want to see how Lex Luthor to be, because he's rich, he's got lots of money. Why does he want to like reveal himself out there that he wants Batman and Superman to fight each other? Because in the end of the movie, he pretty much forces Superman to fight Batman because he kidnaps Martha Kent, And that right there is revealing to Superman, like, hey, I'm a bad guy. And then it's like, come on, I want you to start planning things more. Make it subtle. Like, it's already subtle with the different ideologies.
Yeah.
So these things, like the mailing of the checks and all that, that's just so... that's just... I don't like that.
Yeah, and, they don't do a good job of giving you a reasoning behind it. That's I think, the biggest problem with this character. John doesn't like it. I actually liked his performance. I just didn't like it as Lex Luthor.
Yeah.
And
So if he was a different character, like let's say for example the Riddler.
Yeah, he reminded me a lot of the Riddler from Batman Forever.
Yeah.
But he was good. Like he was good in like his whatever character he was trying to do. Like his idea of Lex Luthor, but I don't think that's going to be a lot of fans' impressions of that character.
Yeah.
Like they're trying to do a new character, because I've never seen this version of Lex Luthor before. Some people said in the comics before from the previous review that they said that there is a version of that. I don't
know. The only version I know, like before, let's say the animated series or the bald look, he has a red hair, but he doesn't look dorky with the red hair. It kind of looks cool. And one version would be like he's a recluse. Or, he's always trying to... But he's always like a middle-aged man.
Yeah.
And now this is like a younger guy. We've had younger Lex like in Smallville.
Yeah.
But even like in the Smallville one, he's portrayed differently.
Yeah.
Here, he's like kind of... He's always acting weird. He's got these weird quotes. He's like, Senator! It's just...
There's parts from the trailer that they should have cut out.
Yeah.
But I like the way he...
Let's name him the lines. Like, you're... I really hate, like, he's got the worst lines in the movie. I just don't like it. Like, the red capes are coming, the red capes are coming. Or, you know what the biggest lie in America is? That power can be innocent. It's like, I've never heard this before, and I live here.
Yeah, I had never heard that before. And, like, that was weird. I do like that he takes something from his first meeting with her, because she says, like, you can... What does he bottle a jar of piss and call it Granny's
peach tea? Yeah.
But I'm not going to drink from it. And so when she has the hearing with Superman, the one that had the big explosion, there's a jar on there, and she turns it, and it says Granny's peach tea. And it's like, he pissed in that jar, and like kind of put it in her face, like, fuck you. And then the explosion happens. She's dead. Yeah, they don't give you enough reasoning behind his character to make them want to fight. Like you can only go in knowing what you know of Lex Luthor, and then even knowing that, like you're still trying to fill the holes. Like we were talking about it. We're filling up the holes, because he kind of mentions a lot about like mythology. He mentioned it's his father. He mentions a lot about like, what is it, Prometheus, and
Greek mythology.
Greek mythology. That, so he knows all this stuff, and I think they're trying to say, like, this is what he grows up on, and he's trying to prove that Superman is not the perfect god that he is.
Yeah, pretty much. What Lex Luthor says is that if you're, like, since he was younger, he had a bad childhood. So, like, if there is a god, he's not perfect. Mm-hmm. But if there is a perfect person, he's not a god. So pretty much he just wants to prove that Superman is not the god that everyone believes him to be. He wants to show him for his faults, because he's not a fan of just a god being out there. That mentality, so...
Yeah, he can't be all good.
So, let's talk about Wonder Woman. I'm kind of split on how they portray her in the movie. Like, I like her kicking ass at the end. Let's say when they're teaming up, Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman fighting Doomsday. That was great. Wonder Woman, you get to see her with the lasso of truth. You get to see her with the sword and shield. And she's like just roaming all over the place, kicking a lot of ass, like slicing and dicing Doomsday. And that was really cool. Like, she's probably like cooler in action than, let's say, both Superman and Batman. Yeah. Batman's cool too, but just Wonder Woman fighting Doomsday, that's like a whole other level.
Yeah, and like she gets hit by Doomsday, and she's got like this reaction of like, oh really? Like,
yeah.
And like, all right, like, oh, that was pretty good, but I'm still coming after you. Mm-hmm. I know you said that they don't do a lot to set her up.
Yeah,
she's just kind of there.
Yeah, so let's say if you don't know anything about Wonder Woman, and then you're just watching it, it's like, here's a new superhero that just comes out of nowhere. We've seen her bits and pieces here and there when she's making eye contact with Bruce Wayne or stealing the device, the hacking device, or stealing his car, or later emailing each other like, hey, you said you're looking for a picture. The picture doesn't belong to you. It is you, says Bruce Wayne. Yeah.
Smiley face.
Yeah, smiley face.
Poop emoji. But I liked that. Like, I liked that whole thing of like seeing that really, really hot chick at like some banquet or whatever, and like she's just kind of like captivates you, and then she just kind of walks off, and you're just like, wait, hey, where are you going? Like,
yeah, no, that's cool. Like, who is this woman? But then all of a sudden later on, she shows up, and she's like Wonder Woman. It's like, where's the setup? You got the intro, and you got her showing up as Wonder Woman. Show more of a gradual progression. So I just wish that they just did a Wonder Woman movie before this, because it feels like Warner Brothers just trying to push out the Justice League, the cinematic universe, just to get more people in the seats. Like, oh yeah, I'm excited. I want to watch the Justice League, and everything is out there on the table. Here it is, and then we'll worry about setting up the characters later. Yeah,
that's what it does feel like, because there is a lot of stuff in here, and we'll get more into that in a bit about where this how more parts lead to other movies. But let's talk about Doomsday.
Yes.
The spoiled reveal of Doomsday from the trailer, and how he is actually in the movie. I mean,
they never really should have shown Doomsday in the trailer. That was like a huge spoiler. He's like the final third act. I was hoping they might change it up a bit, but no, that was it. That's the final third act.
And didn't somebody come out and say that it wasn't? Like, oh, that they didn't that doesn't reveal that much, actually.
But yeah, it does, because now you're not even surprised. You're anticipating. The whole time you're watching the movie, it's like, okay, Batman, Superman, why are you guys fighting each other? We all know you're going to fight each other, and then you're going to stop, and then Doomsday is going to come. I didn't want to know that. But people were like, what are you expecting? You know that they're going to become friends again. Yeah, I know they're going to become friends again, but I don't want to know the reason why they have to team up because of a bigger threat. Like, keep us, in the dark with that bigger threat out there. But let's talk about Doomsday. His creation, I think, is kind of dumb. Like, they have General Zod's body. Lex Luthor has it, and he wants to. All of a sudden, he knows that he can create something disgusting out of it. Mm-hmm. So the ship that he's in, it creates using the blood that Lex Luthor poured from his hand to General Zod. It creates Doomsday.
Yeah, that doesn't really make sense. Like, I was, we watched it twice, so we got a good chance. Like, I was really like paying attention, like really like waiting to listen to what he was saying and like what the ship was saying back to him.
Yeah,
it's like, so he gets access to the archives of the Kryptonian archives.
Yeah.
And then somehow from that he makes Doomsday, which I don't understand.
Yeah, it's just, I get like he has the access because the council, they're dead.
Yeah.
But so just because they're dead, the rules are changed?
Yeah. And like, well, he tries to use like the I guess Kryptonians use fingerprint technology?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, why not?
Yeah.
If I was a Kryptonian with fingerprints and, that's like your individuality, so why not?
I guess, but it worked. I mean,
he
got control of the ship and he got it to do this thing, and I don't know if he created it because, I mean, I think we talked about
this. Create what?
I created Doomsday from just putting it out there, or he got it from the archives?
About knowing to create that?
Yeah, because...
See, now we have to fill in the loops. Not the gap. Fill in the gaps on how he knows that. So he probably knows everything about everything because of the archives. The archives is telling him the history, probably other threats out there. Yeah. Like, for example, later on they're going to mention, at the end of the movie, they're hinting at Darkseid.
Yeah.
So once Lex Luthor is caught at the end, he's like, oh, there's something else out there. So he's hinting at Darkseid. It could be Darkseid.
Yeah.
But I'm thinking it's Darkseid.
Yeah, but I mean, remember when we saw the first trailer that revealed Doomsday?
Yeah.
And then we were talking to some friends and they were like, what'd you think? And I was like, I like this version. And he's like, what? Doomsday was... whatever, he was something that was like an ancient beast of like Kryptonian mythology.
Yeah.
But that's not how he was in the original comic books.
Yeah.
That was later filled in. In the original origin, from Death of Superman was just this guy that was in the ground that woke up and then just started punching people. That was the origin.
Uh-huh.
But, you know, what they try to do in this movie, it's just weird, you know? Like, the whole blood thing, like, I don't understand.
Yeah, so the creation is weird. And what about his look? I'm not a fan of his look, because he looks like a cave troll from Lord of the Rings. Or you can say he looks like a Goomba from Super Mario Brothers.
Yeah.
Or what else? Any other weird creatures out there?
Yeah, that's
like a Gollum's bigger cousin.
But, I mean, he's imposing. Like, he's big.
He's big, yeah.
He's gray. I mean, they do go with the whole, like, shards coming out. But
the shards, those the horns or whatever, that looks cool. But his face, I'm not a fan of his face.
They never go full Doomsday, like I could say. So when you think of Doomsday from the comics, where he's got like the beard of spikes and they're like all over his eyes, and he's got white hair.
Yeah,
that's not this Doomsday. He doesn't get there to get that. They try to put some of what you know of Doomsday and his origin and like that story arc into this movie, because what happens, John?
The death of Superman.
Yeah. I was not expecting that.
Yeah. Wow. That was one of my favorite parts of the movie. Like, wow, they actually did it. They, they had Doomsday just pierce Superman's chest. He dies, saving Metropolis. Mm-hmm. And it was, wow. It's very, I was emotional. Like the first time I saw it, and I was like, they did it. He's a martyr now.
What did you think the second time? Still like.
The second time, it wasn't as strong of an impact as the first time.
Yeah.
But, it's still cool that they pulled off, like, the death of Superman.
Yeah.
But then...
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
But then they ruined it, because at the end, you have Lois Lane, like, over his coffin, just putting dirt on it, and you can hear the heartbeats, like, maybe, like, 3 times, 2 or 3 times. I want... Okay, you can make it subtle, like, with the heartbeats, like, but maybe once. Doom, doom. And just make people guess, like, is that a heartbeat? But they did it around 3 times, I think, 2 or 3 times. And then he also had, right when the scene ends, like the dirt kind of levitating, just showing you that Superman is going to be back. Why did they have to do that? Just, I know that he's going to come back, but don't show me in the movie. I want to be surprised. I want the people that don't know about the death of Superman to be surprised.
Yeah, like they couldn't just leave it alone.
Just fade out. It's a nice moment. Like showing people they cared about Superman and he died saving the world.
Yeah.
That would have been great.
Yeah, and this all has to do with the big DC universe, and Warner Brothers obviously got big plans because there's a lot of Easter eggs and there's a lot of hints, and you see a lot of stuff in this movie that is like dead. Like, hey, you see this? We're gonna do this. This is gonna happen.
Yeah, the files that Bruce Wayne hacked into LexCorp. So pretty much there's a folder that says metahumans, and there's like 4 main folders. So the first one is Wonder Woman. That's how Bruce Wayne, he's looking at it. Wonder Woman, like he sees surveillance cameras following her around, and an old black and white photo, like I think it was like in 1918. Mm-hmm. So pretty much that's her fighting way before like World War II, and probably during, was it World War I maybe?
Yeah.
So you can see Chris Pine there. And so she's like in her warrior's outfit. So that's pretty cool. Like showing that was cool. But then the other 3, you get the Flash, you get Cyborg, you get Aquaman. I think that's a little too much. Like just be subtle. Show the logos. Like you can already tell. Like Cyborg, let the fans decide later on. Oh, they're gonna be here.
Yeah.
But the way they showed it, like Aquaman, it was so cheesy because there's like a camera just like peering inside a ship, and there's like a hole inside the ship. And a guy comes out. He's looking confused, like, what's going on? I'm like floating, yeah. It's like, and then you see it's Jason Momoa as Aquaman, and he looks like he's like a fish out of the sea who just discovered a camera for the first time. He's like, hey, what's going on? Ah, take that camera. It's just, I thought that was cheesy, but then they made it kind of cool because he stabs the camera and then he just swims really fast in a way. But that first appearance, it's like, hey. It's like, come on.
You see Ezra Miller, Now, I didn't like Ezra Miller in the beginning. Like, I was like, okay, Ezra Miller.
Give him a chance, Mike.
I just looked at him and I was like, I don't like the way he looks. I was like, but that's how he looks now. Like, they could change it and they could make him look different because, he's going to be a character, so they could change him up. Nope. He looks exactly how he does. They show him, he's in a supermarket or like a liquor store and he's just kind of like walking around in regular clothes and like he stops this guy from robbing the liquor store. And that's how he looks. He just looks. Look at a picture of Ezra Miller, and that's how he looks. He doesn't look any different.
And I like how he stops him. Like pretty much, he looks like he destroyed like many parts of the liquor store. It's like, could you have just like taken him out, do it really fast? But they had to like make it look really grand and epic. Yeah. But in return, he's like ruining the liquor store. Yeah. Like the lights went out.
Grant Gustin, you're still my favorite Flash.
Yeah. So like, but we don't know yet how Ezra Miller's gonna pull it off. But for now. I wish that Grant Gustin would have been able to be a part of it, but I guess they're trying to keep the CW universe separate from the DC, the Warner Brothers Cinematic Universe. But then he was also teased again. I think it was the dream sequence with Bruce Wayne.
Oh yeah,
we see it looks like a futuristic Flash because he had like armor, and the helmet armor opens up to reveal like an older Ezra Miller. He had like I think a mustache.
I was like, who is that? Yeah. Who's that Mexican guy?
Yeah. But then like I still can't understand what he's saying. Like blah 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 blah. Yeah. Lois Lane or something. Save somebody. Or,
yeah. He's like Lois Lane. She's a key or something.
Yeah.
And
something
then,
like she's a key. Yeah.
And then he's like, you were right about him all along. Yeah. And then he says like, find us or something, and then the thing closes and he disappears. Yeah, see that was crazy.
See, that would have been just a good Easter egg for just a Flash. Like, no need to show that surveillance camera of him at a liquor store. Just that. It's completely different because the Easter egg with Wonder Woman, she's looking at all the files because now she's looking at Aquaman, she's looking at Cyborg, she's looking at the Flash secret files back to back to back. That's just a little too much.
Yeah, it's an obvious like. Hey, this is what we're doing. Yeah. Hey, these are these characters. Yeah. Some people may like it. It's just too much. So the whole dream sequence, I think it basically gives Bruce the idea for the Justice League because he talks to Diana and she's like, we're gonna have to find others like you and we're gonna have to band together because we're gonna have to fight. And he's like, fight what? She's like, fight what? She's like, I don't know, just something. I have a feeling or something. We're gonna fight something.
And already many parts of the movie are setting up for the future, like the Flashpoint paradox Flash coming in from the future to the past to warn Bruce Wayne. And then we have that dream sequence where you see this big Omega symbol, so that's like hinting at Darkseid. And then you have the creatures flying above the the parademons. Yeah. So that's also like one of his the parademons are part of Darkseid, so it's hinting at that.
Yeah, but I mean, overall, I mean, it's a difficult movie because it's got to do so many things.
Yeah, it's cramming a lot of stuff in. I still enjoyed it. I love the action sequences. I love like the Holy Trinity fighting Doomsday, and I love just just the initial fight between like Batman versus Superman. And I like certain parts of like the opening sequence. I don't think we talked about it in this review, where you get to see the history of Batman's past, like seeing his parents being murdered. That was like a very cool slow-mo dramatic way. Yeah. And so here the future is hinting at Justice League.
Yeah, I mean, it's we were thinking about it, and it's like, in a perfect world, they could have done separate movies to set up to this one, Yeah. But that's not what Warner Brothers wants to do. That's not what they probably tasked Zack Snyder with doing. Basically saying, you need to get all this together now because we need to play catch up.
Yeah.
So do it. Make it happen so we can, be in the running as well. Yeah. So
I guess for like the future movies, for me personally, I don't want Zack Snyder to be part of any of the future DC stuff anymore. I just hire like new directors. So that's what we're seeing. Like with the Wonder Woman movie, they're having a new director, and so just keep it fresh. Because this kind of reminds me of like Paramount just hiring Michael Bay to keep on directing the Transformers movies. Like, I want to see a fresh take on it. So yeah, no more Zack Snyder, please.
Yeah, I mean, I he was good in 300 and Watchmen. Yeah. We talked about this, I think, in the review.
Yeah, we did.
Sucker Punch, oh god. Man of Steel, oh god.
Yeah.
But some people like it. I still like this movie. I think it's still a fun movie. I mean, my grade may have gotten down just a tiny bit because of the semantics, but that's what people that are like us, that are comic people or people that know the mythology. We need that. We need the story. We need that drive for these characters.
I think that's what any people, not even just comic book fans, but people just want a good story, something that they can just grasp onto. And here, the potential could be better. It's still entertaining for me, but it could have been a lot better.
Yeah.
So what do you guys think about the movie? Have you guys seen it yet? What are your thoughts on Ben Affleck as Batman? What are your thoughts on Batman killing people? What about Henry Cavill as Superman? Jesse Eisenberg as Lex Luthor? What do you think about the Easter eggs? Do you think it was too much? Did you want them to hold back on it? Or were you fine with seeing Aquaman just swimming around, just hey, what's going on? Or what is it, Cyborg, just with all the machine parts coming towards him?
Yeah.
Or Ezra Miller just buying a carton? Yeah, so let us know what your thoughts are. With that said, I'm John.
I'm Mike.
And we'll see you guys next time.